You know what's funny? I didn't always want to make content. I made content because I had to. I made content because I made music and I'm an artist. So we have to promote our music. We got to put it out on social media. That's why I started making content in the first place, but I didn't want to do it at all. Over time, I started to post a little bit more and more, and I never really talked on my story. It was very rare that I did. I posted little bits of my life here and there, just enough that I felt comfortable with. I was not really posting that much, but I still made an effort to try to post and like get some photos every here and there when I was out and post it, but I wasn't really like taking it that seriously. I had moments of consistency where I'd be like, okay, no, I'm doing this. I didn't even know what this meant. It wasn't until I decided to invest in myself in this course, and that's when everything changed. This course was a 6-month course. I think it lasted 6 or 7 months. And it was a course teaching us how to make a course. And that course was intense. It was intense because it wasn't necessarily the fact that we were making a course, but we also had to learn the platform we were making the course on. So let's say there was like 15 people in the course. A quarter way through the course, there was maybe 7 people, 10. And then halfway through, there was about 5 or 6. Towards the end, I think there was like 5 or 4 of us left. It was so intense. We got new videos every week, and every week it was more things you didn't understand. So imagine like you get a video, you see it, you don't understand. She had weekly calls. You go on the call to try to understand. You may understand a little bit of it when you get off the call, and then you have to just keep reviewing it so you can get it. And then once you start to like get it a little bit, a whole new set of videos drop of things you don't understand. So it was a lot. And imagine this for 6 months. So it took me 6 months to build my production courses because I put a lot of detail into it. I had to like strip everything down, from everything I knew, and then bring that back and then bring that back and strip it back so that I can make a beginner course and then an intermediate course so that the beginner can also go from beginner to intermediate course-wise, and an intermediate producer can just start there too and get something out of it. So put a lot of time into that course. It wasn't even just the course itself too, but it was everything I had going on outside of it. So the sessions I was doing, the custom songs, the mixing, my songs. It was just a lot at the same time, but it taught me something. So in the course, we had to make content. At one point of the course, once we had the first part done, it was time to make content to start promoting it. So we were on calls, we were shown ideas of types of content we can make. We were given a schedule that we could follow and, tweak. And we had to post consistently because everybody was launching their course roughly around the same weekend. So it was intense. We had to then get creative to make the content that would fit our course, because mind you, we were getting taught how to build the course but not how to build it for our topic. So we had to go and build the course. So you had to figure out also how to build the course on the side at the same time. It was a lot. When the course was finished, I felt relieved. I felt like I could breathe. I felt like, oh my God, that was good, but oh my God, I'm glad it's over. It was a lot. I'm so grateful for that course, though, you have no idea. So I took a break. I maybe posted, a couple times in the week, but nothing crazy. So then I was like, some time had passed, and I was like, wait, why don't I apply everything I've learned in this course to what I'm doing right now? I might not necessarily want to sell a course or want to promote a course or just give tips. Why don't I apply it to everything I'm doing right now? So then I was like, oh my God, genius! So I started doing all of that. I started applying all the things I learned in the course content wise, and I started making different types of content. So I used that same consistency, the same, okay, let me gather some content, let me this. And I had made content prior, so I had a little bit of knowledge, but there was a lot that we learned in that course as well. And we had to stay on top of it, or, you know, you basically drop out of the course like most people did. And it was a lot of money we spent on the course. I wasn't dropping out. I was going to see it through to the end because I committed to it. And so I did that. I started to apply it to my content. I put everything out. I did funny videos. I did singing videos from time to time. I did the tips videos still. And I was just kind of like trying and figuring it out and stuff. And I didn't like it at first in the beginning, but then I started to enjoy it. It was like when I made a funny video, like it's like, oh, I gotta make this content. But then when I was done editing it, I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. Like it brought me joy. So in the beginning, not of the course, but in the beginning of me creating content, I didn't want to do it at all. And then when I started doing it because I had to, because I made music, I was like, this is kind of fun. And then I started to really like making videos. I mean, look, now we're on YouTube. I mean, that's a story for another day. What I'm trying to get at here is I started doing something that I didn't necessarily want to do, but did it because I had to. And I began to really like it. But not just the fact that I started to really like it, but I started to see something different in myself. I began to gain more confidence. My communication skills got better. I used to never talk. I used to, over time I would make Monday elevation posts. That was like Mindset Monday kind of vibes. And I would try to get on live and talk, and that was super uncomfortable. That's a story for another day. But I tried a bunch of things, and it wasn't just this course that did it for me, but I'm using it as an example because I had been creating content for a long time. But what the course did was it put me on a schedule. I had tried to make schedules before, and I've done them, but then I would start and stop. And I tried to stay consistent. And then I just stayed consistent, relatively consistent. And then the course started. And then it was like full gear consistency. So I was already disciplined, but my discipline grew even more. I was already organized, but my organization skills grew even more because I batched content. I had to not just batch the content in one day, but I had to get the content, make it, find it, get audios. I was doing it like that, right? And then figure out a system that works for me. And I just started to get really, really good at it. Creating content became so easy after a while. I began to trust myself. I started to see more in me. I was doing what I said I was going to do. I was getting it done, and I was starting to see results. If we fast forward to now my Instagram is growing, my TikTok is growing, and my Instagram took a minute to start to grow. I was stuck at a number for like probably about 2 years. I was stuck at like the same number, and now it's growing. Like recently, TikTok grew, and I started to learn. I started to really learn, like, whoa, okay. And I started to see different things in myself, and now I'm more comfortable on the camera, and just from doing it over and over. I was posting so consistently, especially with my mashups, that now all of a sudden major artists are starting to notice me. They repost my stuff, they add me as a collaborator, and then it gets shown to their collaborators, and I connect with major producers, and they're like, I'm reposting it. Or I send major DJs, and they're like, oh my God, that mix and that mashup was so cool. And I'm like, I made a full version, do you want it? So much comes from it. You have to put in that extra zazz, because you can receive the repost and do nothing about it. But I don't work like that. I know the power of relationships, and I love building relationships with people, because I know what I want. I know the type of lifestyle that I want to live, and having amazing, genuine relationships with people and creating with others who are amazing at what they do is part of it. And that came from me posting consistently. Like, you know, I finally had hit 10K on TikTok. That was like a huge thing for me. I didn't even celebrate it, but I should have. And I was like, oh my God, I made it. So much can come from being consistent. You don't even know what's on the other side of that discomfort is beyond your it can be beyond your wildest dreams. It's just up to you. You can decide, you can choose how you want to do it, how you want to live your life. But you have to show up for yourself. And when you do show up for yourself is going to feel so good. I also did a lot of live streams on TikTok. There was a point where I was live 3 to 4 times a day. People were messaging me like, you're live again? And I started to grow a community. I call them my people. But we started to chat and I started to get to know them and I, know their stories, and I would go create music, and then I would start to DJ on live. That's how my DJing career started, really was on TikTok Live. Well, Bigo Live and then TikTok Live. But I just did it like all the time. I just knew practice. I just knew how to get to where I wanted to go based on what I had already done with my music. Singing, songwriting, being an artist, producing, mixing. I'd been doing that for like 10 years. So it's like I knew how to like get somewhere, and it's very simple. Practice and consistency. You have to want it, of course. And then you got to practice it, get good at it, aka being consistent with it. You're going to receive feedback from that. That's going to show you how you're doing. But also, everything is relative at the same time. So keep that in mind. So I always encourage people to start. When people book one-on-one calls with me and they talk about content or music and what they're trying to do, and I tell them, I'm like, there's no magic pill. You have to start. You have to do it. You have to practice. If you want to tour the world, let's say, you're going to have to practice your show, over and over. If you want to get noticed or recognized, like, don't you think you're going to have to practice and maybe show up for yourself? Maybe do some in-person shows, do some mini shows online, record videos of you singing, playing the guitar, whatever you're doing. You're going to have to do that. So start now. I go, because you're looking for a magic pill. This isn't a microwave. This isn't popcorn. You can't just pop it in 2 minutes and 15 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds, depending on your microwave. You get the results. Nature doesn't work that way. And we come from nature. If you need to, give yourself a challenge. 30 days, I'll post twice a week. In 30 days, I'll post 3 times a week. Or in 90 days, I'll post twice a week, or whatever. Do something. Just start. You're going to start to learn and see so much about yourself. It's going to be beautiful. It's not going to be an easy ride. But it's going to be worth it.
There's just a place so deep inside you that is untouched by the world, untouched by even the people in your life who love you the most, and it's just yours. It's your life force. It's your truth. And it is your job from the moment you come out of the womb to the moment you leave this earth to honor that. Mm-hmm. In everything that you do.